7, 6, 5 seconds. 3.
There's a fight, in fact, between the United players on the field.
A match of emotion coming your way now. Yes, and welcome to the big match. And today we really have one of the great games of the season for you. Spurs against Manchester United, matches that by tradition always seem to be something a bit special.
Aim towards Chivers and Gilzean, and Chivers going in on it, Gilzean! Oh, what a save by Rimmer!
Also, Hull against Leicester.
Oh, Lord!
Oh, it hit the post!
And Luton against Sheffield United.
Woodward. What a delightful save!
And in the studio today, the Brentford goalkeeper, Chick Brodie, the goalkeeper injured by this dog last week.
In comes that blessed dog again.
Our action then, the top match from the First Division, a strong line to form at the top of the second. Analysis again from Jimmy Hill, of course, and a look at your letters too. Once more, we're going to show you that fabulous Rodney Marsh hat-trick. But our first action today comes from White Hart Lane. Spurs against Manchester United, a possible rehearsal for the Football League Cup final in February. And what a rehearsal it turns out to be. Such is the magnetism of these sides that the gates were closed 15 minutes before the start. And of course the man that they all want to see is George Best. And this Spurs side knows well enough the damage he can do. Spurs with Phil Beale back at number 6 after injury. As for Manchester United, well, this side is unchanged for the 4th time. Best may have missed training, and the team's trained to London on Friday night, but all is forgiven now. So Best, above all, is the main attraction, and the crowd is 55,000 strong, the biggest of the day. And in that crowd is the England manager, Sir Alf Ramsey.
So Manchester United in their familiar red, defending the goal to our left, get us away. And what a following they have. They're lying 15th in the First Division and having a fairly nondescript season. And yet, over 2 hours before the start of this game, queues were ringing White Hart Lane 6 deep. Now it's Chivers, and really United facing a challenge. Here's Best, wanting 1 goal for his 100 in the league. Fitzpatrick to Law, and now to Willie Watson, the new face in this United side. Law again, shaking off Peters and finding Best. A little shimmy that tries to put him past Perryman. Throw to Manchester United. And the referee today, Ray Tinkler, from Boston, on the league list since 1961. Perryman in very quickly. Chivers. A lot of rain on this pitch in the last fortnight. And already showing those telltale signs of wear with sawdust in the middle, or sand. Peters now to nose. Chivers, Fitzpatrick and Kidd. Bobby Charlton, who scored such a fantastic goal here 3 years ago, running half the length of the pitch, beating almost the entire Spurs side, but giving it there quite nicely to Kinnear. Now it's Gilzean again. John Aston forcing himself on the scene there and giving away the free kick. Now it's Knowles. Peters trying to get ahead to that one. Mullery closing in fast. Kinnear looking for it on the far side, but in fact it's the other full-back now, Knowles. Perryman. Oh, a poor one there by Perryman. Straight to Brian Kidd. Best right up ahead of him. Beale back in this side, watching him closely. And a long cross ball for Law, but cut out beautifully by Cyril Knowles. Spurs coming away at pace and in force. Checked by Fitzpatrick. Jimmy Pearce settled his differences with the club this week and has signed a new contract. And well, there's a cross there towards the far post and a goal kick to Manchester United. the skipper Bobby Charlton, and it could well be quite a task for Charlton and Manchester United here against a rampant Spurs this afternoon. England and Kidd again having a battle there, a fair bit of punching, or not punching rather, but pushing as that ball comes towards them. And now it's Martin Peters. Knowles again making a willing run down the left. Chivers again waiting in the middle, and Gilzean's made a break as well. Knowles hard and low. Bobby Charlton. Aston on this side. Kidd. Giving Fitzpatrick no chance, and there's Kinnear right there. Back to Philip Beale. And Mullery. Kinnear. Mullery again. Kinnear. Chivers going for it, finding Gilzean with his head. Good work there by Chivers and good control by Gilzean. And Pearce going in with a flying header. They were watching Peters more closely than they were watching Pearce. So a very promising opening. Nothing yet to show for it by Spurs, but a very promising opening for them. Kinnear. Peters out-jumped by two United defenders, Watson and Fitzpatrick. Knowles, Peters free, can he get a shot? No, he can't, because that was a marvellous piece of covering by David Sadler. The number 6 for Manchester United really got across there quickly. Now they did take the short corner and it's come off. And then belted away because Sadler wasn't sure whether it was going to, or rather Watson wasn't sure whether it was going to creep inside or not. And so it's a throw then to Tottenham from a position where Chivers might try a long one. And there it is, England right up there. Rimmer to use his fists, and it's coming through now to Chivers again with time to tee it up. Pushed away once more. Perryman, so much pressure on Manchester United. Knowles. Peters looking for it. England is right in there as well. Done only as far as Gilzean, just past. And United in the most terrible tangle in defence, and nobody at the back there to organise them. But in fact it was a free kick. Might well have been that Mike England, who's now got back to defence, had his feet rather high in the challenge there, but at any rate the whistle had gone. Bobby Charlton going for that one and missing completely. To the mystification of Spurs, it's a free kick to Manchester United. Law putting it straight at Kidd, in fact, and then putting it straight into touch. Looking just a little bit rattled at the moment, Manchester United. It's Knowles. Looking for Chivers. But it must have been a foul by Steve James, the number 5 on Chivers, because it's a free kick for Spurs. In a position exactly where I would imagine Knowles would turn another one into that penalty area. Gilzean looking for it and getting ahead to it, just past Rimmer's post. Fine jump by Gilzean. He had two men marking him and he still got above them. So even that young Spurs supporter thinks so too, waving that scarf for all he's worth. At corner then, yet another for Spurs. Rimmer just having got a fingertip to it. Peters making a tremendous run towards the near post. He's left Chivers free on this side. Too high for Chivers, but Knowles to collect it. England calling for it in the air. Mike England going for it with his head. Always up and staying up for these dead ball situations. The number 5, Mike England. Corner again to Spurs, and Pearce with it. Peters again making that run to make the short one possible. Wide for Knowles, with time to put it in the middle. Taking more time than maybe he should have done. And now Beale. Mullery, snapped at from behind by Fitzpatrick. Beale again, trying to turn it towards Chivers. Charlton, Fitzpatrick and Aston. Five Spurs players back in a line strung across the edge of that penalty area. Now Kidd. Turns it in towards Bobby Charlton. Beale not getting it very far. It's Fitzpatrick. Charged down by Mallory. And Spurs off on another assault. Gilzee. Held it too long. And Sadler who brings it away. United's throw. Oh, Best in a bit of space. Beale jogging alongside him. Kidd has made the burst, and a good burst too. Perryman right back, and a corner to Manchester United. Looks as though Kidd's in trouble from the challenge by Steve Perryman, but a perfectly fair challenge by Perryman it looked. A desperate one certainly, because Kidd was right through in that penalty area. The referee has taken Kidd off the field and says that the treatment must continue there. And so Bobby Charlton with the corner for Manchester United. And it's pushed away and over the line, says the linesman, and the goal is given, and it's Sadler who has scored it. No, not given. Not given. It was a push, says the referee. The goal is not given. Well, there looked to be a misunderstanding there between the linesman and the referee. It looked as though he'd given it, but there was an infringement on the line. And I noticed incidentally that Wilf McGuinness, the Manchester United trainer, now with Brian Kidd behind the goal. There's Perryman. Gilzee flicked on and offside, says the linesman. There's Wilf McGuinness waving his arm, had a word with that linesman as he went by. Brian Kidd looks as though he's all right again. Wilf McGuinness, I think, must have been a little disappointed that the goal he thought had been given and then it wasn't. Bobby Charlton. John Aston, number 11, and Knowles watching him. Kidd looking for that one, and Law! There it is by Dennis Law! Well, would you believe it? For 30 minutes they're outclassed, and then in a flash, Law puts Manchester United in front. What an astonishing turnabout, but what a superb piece of opportunism by Dennis Law. Well, I suppose every Spurs supporter at White Hart Lane was saying there's no justice here, with Spurs outclassing Manchester United for so long, and now here they are with 32 minutes gone, a goal down. England, Chivers, Gilzee right up, but that's Manchester United. Mullery over that bar. And that's what character and resilience, I suppose, are all about, and all credit to United on the receiving end for so long. When the chance comes their way, my goodness, they make it count. Law, of course, who's had so much trouble with injury, scoring his 7th goal of the season. England. Nobody can doubt that Dennis Law, 8 seasons at Manchester United, they really have been 8 most exciting seasons for everybody who's watched him. Knowles now to Pearce, as Spurs storm back, and Chivers almost putting it through. What a save, though, by Rimmer to get down as quickly as that. From Chivers. Kinnear getting himself into a bit of trouble for a moment, and he must have handled it as he tried to control it. Free kick then to Manchester United. Bobby Charlton and Best and Kidd all there behind that ball. Best trying to curl it, hitting a Spurs player. But the whistle had gone, that wall wasn't back 10 yards. And so Best may get another chance. Maybe this time it'll be Bobby Charlton to blast one. Remember, free kick that Bobby Charlton blasted past that Spurs wall in the game at Old Trafford last season and scored. No, it's Best again to curl one. England to get it away. Best. Good control by Best. Almost getting in by that near post. Joe Kinnear. Spurs obviously keen still to take up the running. Chivers back to Mallory. Looking for Peters, and it'll come to Peters, but he couldn't control it, nodded on a little too far. England beating Kidd in the air. Peters. And Sadler to cut it out. Bobby Charlton, only Best is up. Knowles. 7 minutes to go to half-time. Mallory. Knowles. For Mallory again, and Knowles once more. Aim towards Chivers and Gilzean, and Chivers going in on it, Gilzean! Oh, what a save by Rimmer! How did he keep that out? That looked the merest formality for Gilzean from 2 yards, and no wonder the United players are going across to thump him on the back. Now Knowles turning it across again, and a goal kick. Well, I think there must certainly be a certain mystery in the south as to why Alex Stepney can't get back into that Manchester United side. And I think a moment ago we had one of the answers. That really was a superlative save by young Jimmy Rimmer. England up again. Perryman bursting in on the scene. Mallory there too. And so is Kidd to Bobby Charlton. Dennis Law. Tony Dunn tempted to put it back, I think, but then found that Chivers was right back as well. As the whistle goes for the end of a first half that sees Dennis Law having put Manchester United ahead when it could so easily have been Spurs 2 or 3 ahead by the time that he did it. But still to come on the big match, Hull versus Leicester and Luton against Sheffield United, 2 top second division matches. But here at White Hart Lane, the half-time score in a sparkling first division match, Spurs 0, Manchester United 1, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes with the rest of the game. So Spurs get away in the second half, now defending the goal to our left. United obviously kept buoyant in that first half by some superlative goalkeeping by young Jimmy Rimmer. Now it's Pearce. The pressure already on United again. Peters looking for it, but Fitzpatrick to Aston. Short ball to Bobby Charlton. And now to George Best. Peters snapping at him, and after the ball had gone, Best, I suppose, probably takes more wear and tear on his body in the course of a season than most footballers. A little shrug and a little smile that says such a lot. Sadler's long free kick headed away there by England as far as Best. Mallory now back to Jennings. Two Northern Ireland teammates there in the tangle. Joe Kinnear for Tottenham. Perryman. Gilzean trying one of those back flicks of his, but straight into the path of Fitzpatrick for Manchester United. Law taking it up to Best. Law again with Aston outside him. Trying to get inside Knowles for the speed of Aston. But Knowles getting back very quickly himself, putting it over for... No, it hits the flag. And now it's Best again. And now for Fitzpatrick. Bobby Charlton. Law looking for it. Best again in a crowded penalty area. Aston, Spurs in increasing trouble. And Mullery shouldering Aston out of the way and finally bringing it away for Tottenham when it looked very dangerous indeed. Pearce. Mullery. Pearce not quite able to get to it as Chivers tried to flick it inside. England to Kinnear, who has almost half the pitch to himself. Perriman. Gaggle at the far side waiting for the high ball. Gilzean pumping it on and Dunn putting it back. Law now for Manchester United, on for Best. Trying to torment both Beale and Mullery and succeeding up to a point. Beale brings him down and the play goes on. Mullery, the long ball, seeking out the speed and the strength of Chivers, going down. And the ball still not out of play. To Jimmy Pearce. A long cross ball, Gilzean to raise himself for it. And that was precious close to the top angle of that Manchester United goal from Gilzean. Such a dangerous customer in the air at the far post from those crosses. Although this may be a tactic that is becoming just a little predictable for Spurs. All waiting for this Rimmer kick. Bobby Charlton. Well, that was aimed towards Best, but as Bobby Charlton hit it, Best was running back towards him, expecting a shorter ball. Fair bit of pushing and bumping and boring there between Chivers and Steve James. And Chivers adjudged the guilty one, backing in. And so it's going to be David Sadler, who began his career as an amateur with Maidstone United. Philip Beale. Now Kinnear. Not the best of passes from Watson. Mullery. Oh, another good one by Mullery as well, straight to Aston. Kidd. Law. Brian Kidd. To George Best. Fitzpatrick. Best going in on it. Best! Oh, beautifully taken by Best! What a magnificent goal by Best! What a magnificent goal that destroyed that Tottenham defence. He started it off and then took it beautifully on his body round that Spurs defence and made it number 2. Well, that's George's 7th goal of the season. It makes him the top scorer for Manchester United. Whether you love him or whether you hate him, you can never ignore him. George Best. And of course that is his 100th league goal. Well, he scored the goals, and over the years he really has brought unrivaled entertainment to vast crowds everywhere, George Best. And now that really leaves Spurs so much to do. And now it's Aston. And you really wouldn't begin to recognise this Manchester United side from the side that was pulverised in the first 30 minutes of this game, when Spurs did everything but score 3 or 4 goals. Best. Kidd. And Spurs now in dire danger of losing their second successive home game, and it needs Mullery now to drive them still further and further. Joe Kinnear. And now Philip Beale. Cyril Knowles. Chivers looking to make a run towards it, but in fact it's Perryman now. Pearce, Knowles again with a chance to lift it once more. Peters waiting at that far side, getting it in! Martin Peters! 2-1! Well, that really does open it up again. Knowles for the umpteenth time putting it across that Manchester United goal mouth. And there, lifting himself above the ruck, Martin Peters to make it 2-1. One that even Jimmy Rimmer couldn't stop. And that really does make it a game now. 2-1 to Manchester United, with just over a quarter of an hour of the second half gone. Well, there are the Tottenham supporters, and now they've got something else to cheer as Kinnear takes it up, or at least something to hope for. Peters begging for it outside Kinnear, and finally getting it. Hard and low, and Gilzine selling a dummy, but United weren't fooled. Away goes Aston, chased by Knowles. Perryman covering too. Mullery to Pearce, and now to Philip Beale. Pearce to Beale again, and he overran it. Yes, the Tottenham fans are in good voice now. They can see a bit of hope. But it's Aston taking up the running again for Manchester United. Stopped by Knowles. Brian Kidd with the throw. Aston and Kidd with a tremendous shot. Charged away as far as David Sadler. Turning another one in, just over that bar, pushed there, tipped there, delicately by Pat Jennings from David Sadler, number 6. Well, we saw that the groundsman had to come on and sort out those rolls of paper last week, and Pat Jennings doing it this week as they litter the back of his goal. The crowd absolutely delirious at that end. You wouldn't still think that they were a goal down, Spurs. And now more pressure on them as Aston takes his corner. Bobby Charlton going in there. And Watson with a shot, but under the roof of the stand. And never likely to go under the crossbar. Fighting with the ball there. It's like something in a fairground there. And finally the policeman to Pat Jennings. Still bumping and boring going on there between James and Chivers, and this time it's James who is pushing Chivers. I don't know how you distinguish one from the other, quite honestly, but they're having a joke about it. They all seem to be bumping and boring each other every time that ball goes in the air. Here's Kinnear, leaving it for Peters. Trying to turn it again towards that near post and off Tony Dunn for the corner. This place is really alive with atmosphere now as Spurs come storming back and England goes up once more. From behind Rimmer's goal, this is how he sees it. There's England wanting it high in the air, letting Kinnear know where he is, but it's a low one. It's Peters trying to turn it in. And it's done now for Manchester United. Always a cool head in those sort of situations, Tony Dunn. Perryman. And a nice ball there to Cyril Knowles. Knowles turning it once more to try and find Chivers. Steve James. As we get the pattern almost of the first half where Spurs were doing this for almost the whole of the first 45 minutes. Perryman now to Kinnear. United really trapped now in their own half of the field, but Law finding Rimmer. Bobby Charlton now, Best and Kidd ahead of him. And Fitzpatrick surging forward too, and Best is through, but he's offside. He's offside. And the linesman had his flag up as soon as that pass was made. Mike England with the kick. Crowd, I think, claiming that Chivers was pushed again there by James, but it's Spurs in possession once more, and they're very intelligently spreading this game out as wide as they can. Now it's Knowles turning it in. Oh, Gilzean! 2-2! What a goal by Gilzean! Oh, and what a comeback by Tottenham! Again the cross from the left, and again Gilzean with that head of his to flick it wide of Rimmer. And so from 2 down, it now stands at 2-2. Well, what a tremendous game this has turned out to be. Spurs v Manchester United has that reputation of being something a little bit special, and this afternoon it's no exception. And now with this pendulum swinging against Manchester United towards the Spurs and Alan Mullery, the odds must now increasingly be on Spurs to do something even more dramatic. Down goes Knowles, put down there by Watson. What a magnificent game of football. Perryman to Kinnear. And pushed away by Aston. And it's all very well for Fitzpatrick to show his annoyance at the linesman, but it wasn't the linesman who threw Kinnear over. And most certainly it was a foul, and most certainly it is a free kick to Tottenham. Mullery wanting Aston to go back 10 yards, the linesman ignoring him, Mullery putting it hard. Gilzean! Oh, good work by Rimmer. Angry that Gilzean wasn't covered by his defence. And still that pressure on Manchester United. Chivers. Pearce to Mullery. Wide there for Knowles. This is where the goals have come from. And across that goal, and just past that post as the crowd tumbles down behind it. And it needed the merest touch to make it 3-2 to Tottenham. And a United player down injured, and Steve James and Fitzpatrick and Law. There's a fight, in fact, between the United players on the field, angry with each other, and Dennis Law in the middle of it. David Sadler as well, angry obviously with Mullery, who is acting very wisely and sensibly as a peacemaker. But obviously Law full of anger and anguish that this 2-goal lead should have been lost. And there at the end, exactly as it should finish. Well, he was furious with Fitzpatrick for not doing his job at the back. But that really was the heat of the moment, and that was Dennis Law. 2 Aberdonians, incidentally. Done. Oh, and a good ball there from Kinnear that sends Peters away, and again good defence by Tony Dunn. Trying to push Martin Peters out of it, though. Gilzean. Peters. First time across that goal. Pearce at the far side. It wouldn't reach him, so it's Mullery to drive it just over. And it was tipped over by Rimmer once more. Mullery coming across to take it. England again urging it in the air. Gilzean looking for it, Peters also, and they couldn't get a foot to it. The whistle had gone in any case. Well, Mullery has played his full part in keeping his men moving, keeping their spirits high when they were 2 down, and now it's 2-2 with a quarter of an hour to go. Bobby Charlton gets high, but it's England to Knowles. Sadler rather casually, but finding Dunn. And now Best. Law. Back to Best again. Searching out Aston. Tony Dunn making a run for him. Still Aston. Beating Kinnear for speed. A good piece of work there by Aston. Kidd trying to put it back for Best. And now Willie Watson looping it into that Spurs penalty area. Fitzpatrick there, Law with one of those jackknife headers once more. Knowles. Pearce neatly slipping it inside. Perryman, a beautiful ball by Perryman to Knowles. And now there are plenty of white men waiting for it amongst them. Peters and Gazine! Oh, just passed off the knees of Chivers. That came off his knees and fractionally past the post. Gilzane and Tony Dunn, but only Kinnear there. Mullery. And now to Knowles. This is where Spurs goals have come from. Will they in the last few seconds come for the winner? As Gilzane puts it in and Peters goes in! Oh, and Rimmer losing it for one moment with his heart fluttering. Sadler. And England up as Kidd was backing in on him. Mullery in very quickly before Charlton could take advantage of it. Beale to Knowles. The very last seconds now. Chivers again trying to get away from the defence. Knowles once more. And now England. One last crisis for this United defence to weather. No, they won't have to because the final whistle has gone, and a really magnificent game it's been. Dennis Law, the scorer of the first goal. George Best, the scorer of the United goal, and it seemed to be safe for them. And then in the Spurs comeback, Martin Peters scored the first goal, and the second one, of course, by Alan Gilzine. The final score then at White Hart Lane with the children on the pitch. Spurs 2, Manchester United 2.
Well, what a magnificent match, and still to come, remember, on the big match, highlights of Hull against Leicester and Luton against Sheffield United. A really magnificent match, that one at Spurs. I suppose Spurs fans saying this today, that they are perhaps a little unlucky, having dominated the game for so long, to have got 1 point instead of 2. But here with his views, Jimmy Hill.
Well, I wouldn't disagree with a word of that. I thought Spurs were very unlucky yesterday not to take both points. But they did have one stroke of luck, and a very big stroke of luck. That was in the first half, before anybody had scored. And then Manchester United had a goal that was disallowed. I've had a look at it. I can't see anything wrong with it. Can you? There's Bobby Charlton's corner, and there's Sadler going in with the header. Can you see any pushing? If there is any pushing, did it come from a United player? I think none of you would disagree that that ball was over the line. But there it was. If you spotted anything, don't forget to let us know, because, as I say, we haven't. But then, of course, Manchester United struck. It was all Spurs, pounding the Manchester United goal. But that man, Dennis Law, having a magnificent game, caught hold of a cushioned header from Best, and it was all ends up for Spurs from then on. Here's Johnny Aston, spring-heeled run down the line in slow motion. Pulls it back. There's the chip. Now watch this cushioned header of Best. How he checks it, takes the pace out of that long pass, and puts it right in Law's path there. Tremendous stride through, and Dennis Law doesn't miss chances like that. Perfectly there for him, as if it was put on a sixpence. And it was wonderful yesterday to see Dennis Law really playing as well. Then, of course, it was Georgie Best's turn himself. Never mind about missing trains. The magic was there. Every time he got it, there was a section of the crowd screaming. And in the end, he produced a goal, which I would say was the goal of the match for me. But give credit to John Fitzpatrick, who also played the ball back quickly to him to give him the chance to score it from the wing. There's Brian Kidd on the ball. Best starts the move off, takes it on his chest first there, and plays it out to Fitzpatrick. But it's the speed of this ball back. Quick control, and then straight in as Best makes the run through the middle, takes it on his chest. There was an appeal for handball here, but you can see his arms are out by his side, and he squeezes between Mallory and Beale there. And look how easy he makes this taking of an open goal. Just the right moment to release it, doesn't get too close to the goalkeeper. His 100th goal, and what a goal from Georgie Best. But then Spurs started their fight back, and it was a terrific, sensational surge. They got two beautiful goals, the first from Martin Peters, and it was made by Cyril Knowles, who was playing outside left for Spurs as well as left back, surging up the line at every opportunity. Here he is crossing the ball. It's headed out by Watson, the United fullback, and just watch the neat header here from Perryman, his football brain working to keep the move going. There's Pearce laying it back, and here's the man Knowles making it. A beautiful cross. We can see Peters, who goes in and heads it from just outside the 6-yard box, full of power, right in the air. And even though Rimmer just gets a touch to that, just a touch to nudge it up in the air, he couldn't react quickly enough to stop a header of that power. And in fact, the second Spurs goal was a header too, but a very different kind of header, not one run onto and met with the forward, but a deflection, a Gilzean header. The type of thing that Alan Gilzean does so well. But it was Cyril Knowles again, the man who made the cross for this goal. There's Dennis Law back defending. He covered a lot of ground in the game yesterday. And there's Kinnear spreading the ball out to the left wing. Now there's Knowles. He just staggered a bit there, but recovered his balance, drives it hard this time, and there's Gilzean's deflection, an inch from that post into the corner of the net. Absolute first-class goal. It's lovely to see Alan Gilzean with that type of deflection header, probably the best in the business at that. And in fact, Cyril Knowles can have claims to be the best attacking fullback in the business at the moment. Apart from making those two goals yesterday, just let's have a look now at 3 other crosses that he made in the game that nearly gave Spurs 3 other goals.
And Mallory.
There's Mallory. Typical Spurs move here, spreading it about, and Knowles drifting up the line as he did so often in the game. And there's that accurate cross again. Chivers touches it on, and Peters is claiming like mad that if he hadn't been obstructed, he'd have had that in his net. Now watch the way he starts the move here. That was Knowles pushing it up. A deft touch from Chivers. Nice one back from Pearce. And again, Knowles has been drifting up that left wing, ready to make that hard cross, and look what happens. How near can you get to a goal without the ball going in the net? And finally, we see his ability to cross from a winger's position right up by the corner flag. Nice bit of work by Pearce. He wins the ball well. And there's Knowles right by the corner flag. And see what a beautiful cross that is. A wonderful cross. Chivers gets it on the knee, but he can't get it in the net.
Cyril Knowles, who as a youngster, believe it or not, was rejected by Manchester United, so revenge must have been very sweet for Cyril yesterday. Now some more action for you. It's the goals from Hull, who had a very fine victory over the second division leaders Leicester yesterday at Boothbury Park. The pictures come from Yorkshire Television. The commentator is Keith Macklin, and Hull City are wearing the lighter shirts.
And a chance for Chiltern. It's there! It's there! The goal, a mistake by the Leicester defence, and Chris Chiltern gets his 12th goal of the season. Butler stopping that from going out of play. That's Sjoberg hitting Lord on the mouth. This is Butler, Simpkin. Sjoberg into the tackle again. Simpkin. And Roy, what a goal! What a sensational goal by Houghton! He hit that one first time on his left foot. And it's doubtful if Chiltern saw it before it came out of the stanchion. Corner to Hull City. Chiltern getting up. Houghton. A goal! Butler, what a wonderful bit of cohesion. Chilton a header, Houghton a header, and the ball finishing in the back of the net from Ian Butler.
And that's how it finished, 3-0. Now it's time to have a look at some of your letters, and we first of all turn back to that situation at Colchester last week when the dog ran onto the pitch and injured the Brentford goalkeeper, Chick Brodie. We thought we took rather perhaps a light-hearted view of it last week. The Brentford fans didn't like it. So we thought to put the thing in proper perspective, we'd have Chick Brodie in the studio today. Welcome to Chick. With him now, Jimmy Hill.
Well, thank goodness Brentford won yesterday, Chick. That's a great relief to me and to you, of course. But you've had a really unlucky season this season, apart from the dog. I think your Achilles tendon you've strained. You've chipped a bone in your hand. Mm-hmm. The goalpost fell on you at Lincoln, and then this dog.
That's right, Jim.
How badly did the dog hurt you?
Well, it's a badly bruised knee, and it's damaged the ligament in the knee, Jim. Actually, when the dog hit me, I've sort of twisted on the ground as well. Yeah. And it strained the ligament and the bruising.
You damaged the ligament apart from just a bruise. And that really, because you can get over a bruise in a week, but a ligament, no.
No, that's true.
Just what did he actually do? I mean, did he growl or anything when he was?
Well, actually, as I collect the ball, the dog sort of hits me now. Now, actually, I thought he hit me with his head, but I see he's hit me with his shoulder there. Yeah. And then he started growling, and I thought he was going to have a real go at me then, you know.
Well, he did not a bad job with one go at you, but I mean, are you prepared now to admit it was a fair shoulder charge?
I think so.
Yeah.
Then, yeah.
Did you find it at all amusing last week, or did it really upset you?
No, I wasn't at all amused, really. You know, I mean, I think it's something to do with the refereeing here. You know. Yeah. I think the referee should have stopped the game in the first incident. You know.
Well, I think you're absolutely right that, and a lot of referees have written in, and viewers generally, saying that the game should have been stopped before by the referee when the dog was obviously on the pitch. And a lot have said, how did the game start? How did he restart the game? Anglia has sent us the pictures. Here you can see the game being restarted by a drop ball, which was a bit of a disadvantage to Brentford because you had possession of the ball at that time.
Sure, it's a dodgy situation there, yeah, sure.
Some people have asked whether it would have been a goal. If you'd been on the goal line, you dropped the ball being hit by the dog and it had gone in, would you have expected a goal against you there?
Well, of course. Actually, one of the lads did ask the referee if the ball had gone in the net, would it have been a goal, you know? And he said yes.
Well, the laws of the game are clear. There's a lesson there to all referees in football. When you see a dog on the pitch, stop the game immediately.
Sure, Jim.
But thank you, Chick. We hope your luck will change this season. You'll have no more trouble from dogs and goalposts. And here's a request from Brian Cully to cheer you up for a super save that you made in that match last week. So let's hope that makes you happy.
Let's hope, too, that Chick is fit for Brentford's cup tie against Walsall at Griffin Park next Saturday. The next request comes from that Rodney Marsh hat-trick against Birmingham some 6 weeks ago. It seems you never get tired of seeing it. And the latest requests for this one have come from Michael Waterman of Golders Green in London and also from C.B. Ackroyd of Finsbury Park, also in London. So Rodney Marsh in all his glory.
And now Gillard. Marsh was calling for it, and a slip there allows Marsh to go in. A goal by Marsh! What a goal! And now Mike Ferguson with the corner, Clement right up there, as you'll see. Marsh getting ahead to it. Oh, Rodney Marsh! The second goal of Marsh!
And the third one was probably one to beat the lot, showing all the mastery and the magic of Rodney Marsh. He seems to be encircled at this point by Birmingham City defenders. And yet a little shuffle here, a little twinkle there, and finally the shot, which I think you'll find goes between a Birmingham defender's legs and unstoppable into the corner of that Birmingham City net. Lovely. The last letter today, in fact, comes from Reg Jackson of Croydon. I think it's one we've heard before. He says, the university football match is coming up this week, and again I noticed that it's being played at Wembley, where the small crowd so often looks lost, and it's in midweek. Now, why is that? The answer comes from the FA Secretary, Mr. Dennis Follows.
Well, first of all, the players like to play at Wembley, which is the mecca of football. Secondly, the thousands of schoolboys who go because the match is played at Wembley. And third, because the match is worthy of Wembley. It's one of the best games that one can see at Wembley. For me, it's fresh, it's exciting, and it's a stimulus to me in my job.
Thanks to Dennis Follows for coming in this morning, and I can tell you for one thing that I shall be at Wembley next Wednesday. The kick-off, incidentally, for the university match is at 2 o'clock. Last action today, and really it's a follow-up to that defeat for Leicester at Hull, because while Leicester were losing, Luton Town were winning, and Luton are now 1 point behind Leicester at the top of the second division. Yesterday, Luton's victory came against Sheffield United. The commentator is Jerry Harrison. The pictures are from Anglia, and Luton are in white.
Dearden coming to it. Over the far side with the sun in their eyes, Tudor and Salmons. Nicol getting it away. Caught. MacDonald. Good little flick to MacDonald. Keane coming across to Ryan. I haven't seen much of him, but he looks so dangerous when he gets the ball in a decent position. Mike Keane with the other Ryan going past him. John Ryan, the fullback. MacDonald taking up a place on the far post. Good work by John Ryan. MacDonald. It's there! What a lovely movement. And what a great run by John Ryan. Luton, of course, with the instructions to press home their advantage, but they've got to remain tight. Now here's MacDonald with the throw, one of the longest in the business. Out comes Hodgkinson. Ryan. There it is! Dearden going away, getting a control on his heel, brought down. It's a penalty. Right on the spot, there's the referee. I don't think there's much doubt about that. All the pressure on Tony Reid. And Hoy insists on getting in the game, making it difficult for Curry and having a word with him, trying to put him off. Curry. Oh, what bad luck from Reid. A nicely taken kick, but Reid so unlucky. And now Sheffield United back in it.
But 2-1 then for Luton, and a vital win for them. I'm sorry that our second and third matches, we squeezed them just down to the goals only, but there was so much good stuff in the Spurs match that I'm hoping that you'll feel that we made the right decision in giving you as much as we possibly could of that. That's all from the big match today. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you for On the Ball next Saturday lunchtime. The big match, of course, next Sunday afternoon. We leave you with a goal, and of course it's George Best's goal, his 100th in the league, and a moment for Manchester United players and fans to celebrate.
To George Best. Fitzpatrick. Best going in on it. Best! Oh, beautifully taken by